വീഫൈൻഡർ താത്തി വയ്ക്കാമോ? വീഫൈൻഡർ നേരത്തെ വീഫൈൻഡർ താത്തി. ആ ഓക്കെ.
നമിക്കുന്നു സർവലോകവും കരുണാമയനേ ജീവനുറവേ നിന്നെ നമിക്കുന്നു സർവലോകവും പൂവിലും പുഴയിലും പച്ചപ്പുൽമേട്ടിലും ആടും പറവയിലും ചാരുത പകരുന്നു പാദാംബുജം നിൻ ശരണം ദേവാ സകലവും നമിക്കുന്ന കരുണാമയനേ ഈ ശുഭദിനത്തിൽ ഭക്തിയോടെ സകലവും നമിക്കുന്നു കരുണാമയനേ ഈ ശുഭദിനത്തിൽ ഭക്തിയോടെ ആശീർവാദത്തിനായി അണയും സുതരേ എന്നും മാവോളം അനുഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നു പാദാംബുജം നിൻ ശരണം ദേവാ തൃക്കരം നീട്ടി അനുഗ്രഹിക്കൂ ചേതോഹരമീ പ്രപഞ്ചത്തിലുയരും നിൻ സാന്നിധ്യം എത്രയോ സുന്ദരം എത്രയോ സുന്ദരം എത്രയോ സുന്ദരം.
And high, where knowledge is free, where the word has not been broken up into fragments. My Father, let my country awake.
The multifaceted scientist and former president of our nation who propelled rockets and then young Indian minds to dream. To dream not in sleep but in wake. A dream followed by thought and action. The leader who spread the light of hope. The hope of unleashing power from 1 billion ignited minds. The hope of a march towards a developed nation with the vision 2020. From being a humanist, a teacher who saw the scientist in every child, to being the first president to open the gates of Rashtrapati Bhavan to the young minds of the country. His Excellency Dr. Abul Pakir Jainuddin Abdul Kalam has been a guiding soul to the young minds of India. A hearty welcome to His Excellency. Our dream has been fulfilled with your presence, sir.
A visionary who firmly believes in India's emergence as a technological superpower in the years to come. Padma Shri R.M. Vasigam's career has been symbiotic with India's progress and self-reliance in space technology. Padma Shri R.M. Vasigam has led space missions like Axis-stabilized geostationary experimental satellites and INSAT and IRS satellites for communications, remote sensing and meteorological data. We welcome you, sir. It's indeed an honor having you here. This august moment will be etched in golden letters in the annals of this institution.
Professor P.J. Joseph, President of Torkage Institutions, an academician, active environmentalist, former professor of English, and has always been our constant guide and mentor. He was conferred the International Visiting Fellowship by School of Education, Kingston University. Sir, may we now request you to welcome His Excellency Bharat Ratna Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and Padma Shri Professor R.M. Vasigam.
I consider it an esteemed privilege of mine to be in your midst, to welcome you all to this August assembly. This is a red-lettered day in the history of this institution, a momentous occasion, a day that was long looked forward to. It has been our long desire to have our students to interact with one of the greatest masterminds of our country, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. We have been trying for it from the time when he was the President of India. At the time we feared that he was a little inaccessible for us. But finally here is a day of fulfillment for us all, because we wish to provide the best for all our students. We have a program, The World Outside, where we bring eminent people from different walks of life to interact with our students. And this is the day we look forward to, when they will have an opportunity to interact with the greatest among the scientists, greatest among the philosophers living in our midst during our time. Ours is an institution run by a charitable society, Talkies. Talkies is a peace movement started long back in 1915 on the war fields of Belgium, to be exact, in 1915. When the war fields of Belgium, there was hideous war and very many people were being killed, horrible bloodshed and cruelty on the war field. Some people who were disgusted with the violence of war field got together to spread the message of peace. And under the leadership of Talbot, they got together to think of the ways and means of spreading the message of peace. So it originated as a peace movement. At the time of war, we tried to spread the message of peace. At the time of peace, we try to extend the helping hand to the poor, the afflicted. When we started this organization, early 1970s, our endeavor was to integrate the marginalized people, the people afflicted by leprosy, tuberculosis and poverty. And we are proud to say that we have been able to find an asylum for the children of the beggars of the city of Cochin with the help of the Corporation of Cochin. Even now we continue such activities. It is in 1978 we turned our attention to the education field, because there was a time when we found that most of the colleges, the campuses of the colleges, were vitiated by the overdose of politics. There was so much of clash and conflicts on the campuses of the schools and colleges here. We wanted to start something which would be a model for others. So we started a school in Cochin, 1978. Now it has become a great success. We are able to attract students even from Korea and South Africa to study in our schools. We have teachers from the UK who train our students. Some of the teachers who are there with us are here among the audience, sitting with us to listen to this great mastermind. This college, we wanted to be different from other colleges. We have a very environment-friendly atmosphere here. Our computer lab is powered by solar energy. Thereby we are contributing something towards the conservation of energy. We have got programs for employment for the illiterate poor people in the neighborhood who work in our assemblies center, where electronic chalk and other devices are being assembled. Illiterate people with 1 month intensive training, they become experts in assembling some of the complicated electronic equipments. And many other students who study here without paying any fees, they get scholarship. We have instituted a program for giving scholarship to the good students, excellent students hailing from poor background. And we have been always trying to bring down great people to our campus to interact with our students, because we aim at the overall development of the personalities of our students. And this is the location that crowns our endeavors, because we have in our midst one of the greatest men of our country to interact with our students. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, one of the greatest scientists, the greatest leaders, greatest philosophers. Of course, the pictures can go on like that. I don't want to indulge in that. He is now missed. On this occasion, on behalf of this organization, Talkies, and on behalf of the institution, on behalf of all gathered here, I extend you, sir, a most cordial welcome.
The college captain, 11 George Alex, now now presents a bouquet to our esteemed chief guest, His Excellency Bharat Ratna Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
As he happens to be the alumnus of the Anna University, where I was Vice Chancellor for 3 years, and the MIT, the Chromepet, Madras Institute of Technology, has produced a person like Dr. Kalam in aeronautical engineering, and I always used to tell that it is the MIT of the East. So I am very happy that he is coming to interact with you here in this happy occasion. And the Talkage group members, executives, staff members, and my dear young friends, this is a very, very happy occasion for you to have the interaction with our president, former president. And as you all know, that the whole world is now looking for India to give new directions. Whether it is peace or prosperity or any other area, we are known for doing things systematically now. We are getting the world recognition. And at the same time, the new President Obama has told that Indian education system, something they have to emulate in the US. So I hope that notwithstanding the difficult things of resources and the shortage of many other things, we are still producing excellent academic professionals, researchers, and also the people who set up industries who are also on the cutting edge of technology. So I hope that the program here, we are very happy to have this institute launching its new initiative based on the projects already undertaken here for the various central and the state agencies, and also on their own initiative, the research projects. And it is all going to be formally coming under the umbrella of well-known Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose's name. That research institute is being named, and I hope we will live up to the expectation of the great soul which just missed the Nobel Prize. Marconi got the award for the Nobel Award for the wireless transmission. But the pioneering experiments were done by Jagadish Chandra Bose at Calcutta Laboratory. Even now the records are available. So we hope that we will also go to honor the tradition and at the same time handle the modern things with care and also get the benefit for the poor people all over the world, not necessarily for India. And we have got our eminent people who are advising us on this effort, and I hope that very soon the results will start flowing and international linkages will be built here. So I am happy to be associated with this institute. I came 2 years back to start the international conference here first time, and now I know that we have grown from strength to strength, and I wish this institute will fructify very soon to eventually end up as a university on its own right by doing good things and also the right things at the right time. So I wish that the interaction program for which our former president has been invited here will become the most interesting part of this program, and thank you so much. All the best for you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Excellency, sir, the most awaited moment for the TIS students has arrived, the interactive session. His Excellency has chosen a few questions. We request students to be ready as their names are called out. May we invite His Excellency Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam to begin the interactive session.
Friends, my greetings to all of you. Arakkunam, Talkage Institute of Science and Technology people, I greet all of you and also young students who have come from many schools. And friends, first I would like to greet Professor P.J. Joseph, Professor R.M. Vasakam, Professor Job Kuruvilla, and Dr. K. Varghese, all of you my greetings. Friends, I find a lot of them the hot sun, they can come here and sit in the shadow they want. Friends, today morning, I observed something I want to share with you before I talk to you in details. You know, I went to one function. There I had to give Krishna Menon's memorial lecture. And before that there was a function. That is, a book was written by Justice Krishnaiah, Wandering in Many Worlds. Name of the book, what is biography. Justice Krishnaiah has written a biography, and name of the biography, Wandering in Many Worlds. So I have to receive that book, I went for that. I witnessed something unique there. The uniqueness was a 94 years man, Justice Krishnaiah, is 94 years. And he stood up, gave a speech for 15 minutes in extempo. I was asking myself, a 94 years man, extempo speech with all the happiness, and I was surprised. How is it possible? How is it possible? 94 years man. Young people were all very serious, looking serious. He was always smiling, 94 years man. And the happiness comes from him because he has got a beautiful mind. Beautiful mind, when you have a beautiful mind, your mind becomes creative. If you are creative, you get a lot of imagination. If you have imagination, your contribution get enriched, then you become a great personality. That's how Krishnaiah, Justice Krishnaiah, because of creative mind, he looks young in 94 years. So if you children, dear student, if you want to look young always, emulate Justice Krishnaiah. Okay? That is, you will always think big and work hard and acquire knowledge and you will achieve. Okay? Understood? Understood? This is what children. Now I am indeed delighted to participate and address, interact. I am going to interact with students and also the faculty members of the Talk H Institute of Science and Technology at Arakkonam. My greetings to the principal, faculty members, particularly principal who manages so many people, and staff, students and distinguished guests. Also, I understand you have want to start a Bose laboratory. J.C. Bose, very, very unique personality. I recently inaugurated his 150 years of celebration. We are launching J.C. Bose Center for Research and Advanced Studies Initiative at Talk at Institute of Science and Technology. I am reminded of the contribution that J.C. Bose has made to the scientific world. He pioneered the investigation of radio and micro objects, made very significant contribution to plant science, laid the foundation for experimental science in the Indian subcontinent. He is considered as one of the pioneers of radio science. So I am glad this institution is going to start a laboratory on its name. Now friends, I have a few thoughts I want to share with you. One is from my study of the website. You have a website, this institution has got a website of this institute, TIST. I found that the institute has a vision to evolve a center of excellence for professional education and breeding ground for nurturing innovative talents in the fields of engineering, technology and research. The graduates of the institute should act as a catalyst for transforming India into a developed nation by 2020. Today, I am going to talk to you for the next 10 minutes. Engineering education empowers. The topic I am going to talk to students, particularly the students of engineering students. Engineering education empowers. That's the topic I am going to talk to you. First, I would like to present my experience of learning system design, system integration, system management while I was a student. When you are a student, when you go out of this campus, what you carry? You may carry degrees of mechanical engineering, electronic engineering, bioscience, biotechnology. But actually, when you go and good for employment, employability comes whether all of you have got experience of system design, system integration and system management. Now I am going to tell a story from my own life. While I was studying in aeronautical engineering in Madras Institute of Technology, Crompton, long ago, 1954-57, many of you were not even idea for. During third year of my course, I was assigned a project to design a student team of 5 members. They are assigned to design a low-level attack aircraft together with 6 other colleagues, 6 other students. I was given the responsibility of a system design, system integration, and above all integrating all the members who has to do different types of job. Also I was responsible for aerodynamic and structural design of the project. The other 5 of my team took up the design of propulsion, because the aircraft control, guidance, avionic and instrumentation of the aircraft. My guide design teacher was Professor Srinivasan. Then the director of MIT, Madras Institute of Technology, was our guide. He reviewed the project after 6 months. He reviewed the project and declared, my work below standard, very gloomy and disappointing. He did not lend, my guide did not lend an ear to my difficulties in bringing together database for multiple designers. I asked for a month's time to complete the task, since I had to get the input from 5 of my colleagues, without which I cannot complete the system design. My guide, Professor Srinivasan, told me, look, young man, those days, today is a Friday afternoon. I give you 3 days time. If by Monday morning I did not get the configuration design, your scholarship will be terminated. Stop. I had a jolt in my life, as scholarship was my lifeline, without which I cannot continue with my studies. There was no other way except to finish the task. And my team felt the need for working together round the clock. We did not sleep few days, and then we were at the drawing board. In those days, computer was not there. On Saturday, I took just an hour's break. And Sunday morning, our team was near completion. When I felt someone's presence in my laboratory, it was Professor Srinivasan, my guide, studying my progress. After looking at my work, he patted and hugged me affectionately. He had words of appreciation. He said, I knew I was putting you under stress and asking you to meet a difficult deadline. You have done a great job in system design. Through this review mechanism, Professor Srinivasan really injected the necessity of understanding the first value of time by each team member and brought out engineering education has to lead system design. Engineering education, what you friends will learn, lead to system design system integration and system management. When you go out of this establishment, you will not be given a mechanical engineering job or electronic engineering job or civil engineering job. You will give a system job which will involve multiple technology, multiple disciplines. That's why I am telling this story. I realized if something is at stake, the human mind gets ignited and the working capacity gets enhanced manifold. That is what exactly happened. This is one of the techniques of building talent. The message for all the young engineers, future engineers, the message for the future engineers in the organization, whatever is their specialization, be trained to system approach and projects which will prepare them for a new products, innovation and undertaking higher organizational responsibilities. The teacher of the institution will be a coach like Professor Srinivasa. With this foundation, dear friends, when you are progressing toward the year 2020, what are the challenges? When you go out of this campus, India has got a vision 2020. What are the challenges that are awaiting before for every one of the future engineers to participate in the various missions and to contribute to the success of Vision 2020 and develop India by 2020. Hence, I would like to describe my visualization, be with me, I would like to describe my visualization of the distinct profile of India by 2020. Every point what I am going to convey to you 10 points, one way or other. Each one of you, when you go out of this campus, you have to contribute to that area. Number one, a nation where the rural and urban divide has reduced to a thin line. A nation where there is an equitable distribution and adequate access to energy and quality water. A nation where agriculture, industry and service sector work together in symphony. A nation where education value system is not denied to any meritorious candidate because of societal or economic discrimination. A nation which is the best destination for the most talented scholars, scientists and investors. A nation where the best of healthcare is available to all. A nation where governance is responsive, transparent and corruption free. A nation where poverty has been totally eradicated, illiteracy removed and crimes against women and children are absent and none in the society feels alienated. A nation that is prosperous, healthy, secure, devoid of terrorism, peaceful, happy and continues with the sustainable growth path. Finally, a nation that is one of the best places to live in and is proud of its leadership and proud of its leadership. Now, the question is, to achieve this distinct profile of India, how we do that? Big challenges, 10 challenges. We have a mission of transforming India into a developed nation. We have identified 5 areas where India has a core competence for integrated action. Agriculture, food processing, education, healthcare, information, communication technology, reliable and quality electric power, and self-reliance critical technology. These 5 areas are closely interrelated, and if progress in a coordinated way, will lead to food, economic and national security. So with this friend, with this background, what type of visualization India vision A? Now what is the type of challenges? When you students, when you go out of this campus, number one, agriculture. Some of them they can come and sit here. No? They can come and sit here. Now, number one, agriculture food processing. We have to increase the productivity in 3 times Today we produce 230 million tons. We have to do 3 times and concentrate on food processing. Annual investment will be about $20 million. Infrastructure, that's one of the weak links. Apart from rural and urban infrastructure, 100 million homes have to be built with the energy efficient and water efficient system. Annual investment in this sector will be around $80 billion per year. In automobile sector, the export has to be 50% of our output. We are expecting a business volume of $200 billion by 2016 from the existing 45 billion business. In the shipbuilding, high deadweight ships have been built in the country. In the information communication technology, we have to keep pace with the growth in spite of the global recession by applying ICT for India. We are expecting to reach business volume of $200 billion by the year 2012. In the pharma industry, India must account for at least 25% of generic drug produced world over. Pharma Mission aims to reach the business volume of $50 billion. The aerospace, we are planning to build a 100-seater passenger jet aircraft, which will lead to $20 billion business. The railway length has to be increased. Metros have to come faster transportation, and multi-level station system have to become operational to reduce city crowding. It's about average annual investment with the railways $25 billion. Now, finally, the energy independence. By 2030, we should attain energy independence through renewable energy sources such as solar and wind, nuclear and biofuels for transportation. Average annual investment will be about $30 billion. Now, friends, this is the type of opportunity in front of the young fellows who are sitting all around here. Now, let me talk about the present economic environment. I was asking myself, what type of innovation needed to enrich the Indian economy and other economies which are presently in turbulence? I have suggested 3 areas. One is the agro-food processing, and second one is the small-scale industries, millions we have to enrich that. In third one is the Pura providing urban amenities in the rural area. So Pura mission, the Pura envisages a development of infrastructure for bringing rural prosperity through creation of 3 connectivities, namely physical, electronic, knowledge connectivities, leading to economic connectivity. The number of Pura for the whole country is estimated to be about 7,000, encompassing over 600,000 villages. In Kerala alone, there will be about 200 Puras. The theme of Pura, apart from concentrating on reinforcing agriculture, will emphasize agro-processing, development of a rural transportation, dairy, fishing, silk production, so that the non-farm revenue for the rural sector is enhanced based on the core competence of the region. Also, the Pura complexes will be driven by renewable energy. I am glad you are using renewable energy, solar, wind, biofuel, and conversion of municipal waste in power. In this approach, the aim is to make sustainable development using the core competence of the rural sector. In private sector, many agencies, they have started Pura. For example, one good example, 60 villages, 100,000 population, a rural Pura has come in Tamil Nadu, and similarly in Maharashtra, similarly in Andhra Pradesh, and similarly in Madhya Pradesh. Now, on similar line, I would suggest TIST, that is your institution, to take up a rural development mission in Arakkonam region. The 2,000 students and 200 faculty members of the institute should mount a development program for 30 to 40 villages around Arakkonam within the radius of 25 kilometers, having a population over 1.5 lakhs. This action will inspire the students, since apart from learning, they will be directly contributing to social growth. They can study the core competence of the region in agriculture and fishing and mount a program for overall economic development of the rural complex. Also, there is a need for introducing agro-processing industries which will provide sustainable revenue to the farmers. In addition, by planning the Pura complexes, the students may take into account the non-farm activities which can productively done using core competence of the people of the region. In essence, this Pura should transform Arakkunam and the neighboring villages into developed villages of Kerala within the next 5 years. Aim should be to increase the per capita income of these village citizens by 3 times. All the villages should become literate. Every citizen should be able to have value-added employment, and there should be an adequate availability of water for all through desilting all water bodies and connecting to the inlet and outlet. Power will be available. The message here is Pura is an integrated, sustainable development program with focus on employment generation through rural entrepreneurship by providing physical, electronic and economic connectivity. So this project, I will say, we must push it. Now, finally friends, I have talked about birth of a creativity of a noble art. You read my paper, here a street boy in Italy, how he has become a noble art, a street boy, transformed a noble art. I have described in my talk, and all of you will repeat with me. Will you repeat with me? Yes or no? Yes. When I wish upon a star makes no difference. Who I am makes no difference. Who I am. Anything my heart desires will come to me. See, friends, see the motto of that noble street boy. Noble art. This is his motto. So, in conclusion, I have seen 3 dreams which have taken shape as a vision and realization. Space program of ISRO and Agni program of DRDO and Pura providing urban amenities rurally becoming a national mission. Of course, these 3 programs succeeded in the midst of many challenges and problems. I have worked in all these 3 areas. I would like to convey to you all, young fellows, I want to convey to you all that what I have learned on leadership from these 3 programs. When you are going out on this campus, another 5 years' time, you may be taking the leadership, every field. It may be political. How many of you want to become entrepreneurs? How many of you want to become entrepreneurs? Lift your hand, entrepreneurs. How many of you want to become employment seekers? Employment seekers, we have a problem for employment seekers. But I would like to see when you go out of this college, you must be employment generators. That means small enterprises. You have to start in millions. That's what India needs. That's what an economic friend of India needs. Now for that, to become the employment generators, you need a particular type of leadership. What are the qualities of leadership? Number 1, leader must have a vision. Because only think in terms of 10 years. What I will be, what I will transform into. Leader must have a passion to realize the vision. Vision are not sufficient. Leader must have a passion to realize the vision. Leader must be able to travel into an unexplored path. Everybody will travel in the explored path. A leader travels in the unexplored path. Then only he becomes a leader, become the leader. Leader, the experienced fellows. Okay? Will you repeat with me? Leader must work with integrity and succeed with integrity. How many of you will do it? How many? Leader, work with integrity and succeed. Lift your hand. How many of you will do it? Not bad. Not bad. If you guys do, you will see a prosperous. If you do like that, work with integrity, succeed with integrity, you have prosperous India. Okay? That for sustainable organization, important thrust will be on the generation number of creative leaders through nurturing the talent, promoting the innovation in every sector, and R&D leading to patents. The emergence of such leaders particularly will facilitate competitiveness and help in transforming the nation as a knowledge society. My greetings and best wishes to all the members of Top Edge